The 10 Virgins of Shrine. Episode 1. Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Umuma, there lived 10 young maidens chosen to serve at the sacred shrine of Anioma. The place the villagers believed kept peace and blessing over their land. Every 10 years, the elders climbed the hill and selected 10 girls, pure in heart and gentle in soul, to live within the shrine walls. They were known as the 10 Virgins of Umuma. It was the highest honor a family could ever receive, but also the hardest life a girl could live. They were forbidden to marry, forbidden to fall in love, forbidden to even dream of a world beyond the shrine. Their days were filled with songs, prayers, and silence. Their nights were cold and lonely. Yet they stayed, because they were told their sacrifice kept Umuma safe. The people believed it with all their hearts. And for many years, peace truly ruled the land. The farms were green. The rivers sparkled. No sickness, no hunger, no tears. But peace is like glass. Once cracked, it never looks the same again. Among the 10 maidens was Neka. Young, kind, and different. Her eyes often wandered beyond the shrine walls, toward the world she once knew. When others knelt to pray, Neka would sometimes stare through the window, watching children run home with laughter in their steps, watching families gather by the fire, watching men walk home from the farms with songs on their lips. Each time, her heart whispered, "What if that could be me?" Her closest friend, Olohido, noticed. "Neka," she warned softly one night, "do not let your thoughts wander too far. We are chosen for peace. The people depend on us." But Neka's heart had already started to wander. One evening, she saw him, a young farmer walking near the shrine path, carrying a basket of yams. Their eyes met just once. It was enough. From that small moment, a new feeling entered her heart. She didn't understand it, but she couldn't stop it. Every night after that, Neka found reasons to step outside, to feel the air, to listen to the wind, to stand where she once saw him. And each time she did, something faint began to change around Umuma. The wind no longer sounded soft. The shrine lamps flickered though there was no breeze. The stream behind the hill lost its glow under the moonlight. No one understood what was happening. But the silence of peace had been broken by one heart that dared to love. Still, Neka did not know. She only smiled when she thought of him. She only dreamed of a life outside the walls. But far below the hill, the old ones began to whisper. "The signs are changing, something is wrong." The night grew heavier. The moon hid behind the clouds, and Umuma took its first quiet step toward the storm. The morning sun rose gently over Umuma. But something had changed. The birds that always sang above the shrine were silent. The air felt heavier, and the water from the sacred stream tasted strange. The elders called it a sign, a quiet message that something had gone wrong. But up on the hill, the 10 maidens didn't understand what it meant. They carried out their duties as always, singing, sweeping, praying, though their hearts were uneasy. Especially Neka. Her heart no longer belonged to the shrine. She spent her days pretending to be the same girl she once was. But her thoughts wandered again and again, to the young farmer she had seen near the path. At night, when everyone slept, she would rise quietly, wrap her shawl around her shoulders, and sneak outside through the narrow gate. The moonlight followed her steps. Her bare feet pressed softly against the earth. And each time she stood where she first met him, she whispered his name to the night, though she didn't even know it yet. It was dangerous. She knew it. But love is a strange kind of courage. It makes people forget what they stand to lose. One night, as she stood by the path, she saw him again. The same farmer, his name was Obi. He stopped when he saw her, shocked. Because no maiden of the shrine was ever seen outside at night. Neka, he whispered, afraid to speak too loud. She smiled faintly, her heart beating like a drum. Don't be afraid, she said softly. I only came to see the world beyond the walls. That small meeting changed everything. After that night, Neka and Obi began to meet secretly. They talked quietly by the river's edge. He told her stories about the farms, the village, the laughter she missed. And with each word, her heart fell deeper. But down in Umuoma, peace was slowly fading. The yams began to rot before harvest. The cows stopped giving milk. The sky turned red for 3 evenings in a row. The villagers gathered at the square, worried. The gods are angry, the oldest woman said. The shrine has been touched by a forbidden thing. The elders sent for the keeper of the shrine. An old woman named Mama Ebo, who had served there for 40 years. She climbed the hill at dawn, her walking stick tapping the ground with each step. When she reached the gate, she looked around slowly. Then said something that made every maiden tremble. I feel it, she whispered. One of you has broken the rule. The air grew still. No one moved. No one spoke. But Neka's heart began to race. Her hands shook. Her lips went dry. Olaido turned toward her and looked deep into her eyes. And in that moment, she knew. Her friend was hiding something. That night, Olaido followed Neka quietly. Through the shadows. Past the shrine walls. To the riverbank where Neka met Obi. When she saw them together, her heart broke. She wanted to scream, but she couldn't. She only cried silently in the dark. The next morning, she went to the corner of the shrine and fell on her knees. Oh Anioma, she whispered with shaking hands. Forgive us. One of us has fallen. But it was already too late. The trees around the hill had turned brown. The wind carried dust instead of scent. And in the distance, a sound rose like thunder. A sound that no one could explain. The peace of Umuoma was fading. And the countdown to calamity had begun.